Boomer the van, the T25 back. I've ordered a new sparkly stainless steel exhaust system complete. So I'm absolutely fed up with this thing, trying to seal up the flanges, and they're just a nightmare. So it's leaking from here. That one seems to be sealed. That one's terrible. That's really blown. I think the gasket's burnt out of that, and that back one's leaking down there, and it sounds terrible. So, biting the bullet, I'm going to get the bloody lot out today, and then within a day or two, from Just Campers, we'll have a nice new stainless steel exhaust. Get that fitted. Lovely. Yeah, so Boomer there behind me. Boomer's back, and Herman's there waiting patiently. Now, good thing I've achieved a bit of success on the door. The door is fitting pretty much where it should fit now. It's got a fairly even gap all around. I had a real nightmare trying to fit this door back on, and thanks to People's Car, aka Volkswagen Beetle, I think it's called, on YouTube, for a bit of advice. I bumped into him at a VW meet last weekend, and I was chatting to him about it, and he said, "Oh, try taking the seal out. Some of the seals are too fat for the doors. You can get thinner seals, apparently." I didn't know that. I took the seal out, and the door is pretty much perfect. So there we go. Bit of advice if you're doing that job. But yeah, he's coming on. Oh, and got a nice new home. So I've got somewhere to work. To a certain extent, I've got somewhere to work undercover, out of the rain, basically. Yeah, so it opens my options up a bit. Anyway, let's crack on with this blasted exhaust. So, I've been going about 20 minutes now. I've managed to get out 2 of them, cut through this bracket here that holds the heat exchanger to the exhaust. This bottom one didn't want to play, so I've resorted to brutal methods. I want to try and save this heat exchanger because it's in good nick and it could be some use to somebody sometime. So apart from that, I mean, the back box is good too, so I might try and save the back box. But basically everything is, the spanners are just, I mean, you can see down there those flange nuts and threads on there are absolutely rusted terribly. I'd say another good tip is probably taking off these pushrod tube protector shield things, because they give you that little bit much more access. Unfortunately, there and there are mounted to the exhaust, so if you can't get an exhaust bolt out, in this case they're bolts, you won't be able to get that off very easily. But yeah, it's worth taking them off if possible. So I've been struggling most of the morning with this exhaust, getting these rusty retaining bolts and things out. Spanners slipping and one thing and another. Then I realised I've got this set of bolt grips, they're called. I think they're Australian, from the makers of Vice Grip. I forgot I had these. I've used them in the past. This is a new set. So what you do basically is hammer the buggers on, and then they grip like shit to a blanket, and yeah, undo your bolt. So at last, 5 hours. That pile of crap there amounts to 5 hours work. It's just not a nightmare, but it's just difficult. Poor access, you know, laying on your back, confined spaces. Don't rely on hand tools, don't rely on sockets and spanners. This is what I've had to use. WD-40, heat, cutting disc, hacksaw, mole grips, safety gear of course. Yep, it's been a bit of a full-on 5 hours, but we're all done. Well, that's half of it. The stainless exhaust should be arriving Monday or Tuesday, so that'll be the next bit. Oh, what fun and games we've had with the old exhaust here. Yeah, it took me 5 solid hours to get the old exhaust off, which is dead. Actually, it's not dead. The back box is savable, and the heat exchanger might be some use to somebody, so I'll probably keep those for a later date, just in case somebody else wanted them. Anyway, yeah, what was I saying? So we've got well, this is where we're at. So I've got the let's get underneath. So the exhaust came pretty quickly from Just Campers, bless them, and yeah, you can see I'm getting there. I left everything loose, very loose, because you've got to figure out where everything goes. Now I've had a problem with this stud up here. Unfortunately, where are we? There we are. Yeah, unfortunately, I think the only way that's going to come out is if I'll have to drop the engine and drill that out and helicoil it. So I'm not prepared to do that at the moment. I'm going to put the exhaust on with some of this metal paste, high heat metal paste stuff, and hopefully that'll seal it. If it does become a problem in the future, at least I've got stainless steel exhaust with stainless steel fittings that will be a lot easier to take apart. And basically, yeah, the engine will have to be dropped and sorted, but fingers crossed it will seal up. So, what else has been happening? Oh, not easy to get up and down when you're in OAP. Yeah, I've been stripping out. I've stripped out some of the old furniture that was in here, and as you can see the size, I'm going to replace these. The old ones are there, but I don't know whether to reuse them and recover them, or buy some new sheets of hardboard and start again. The rock and roll bed is coming out because it's one of these where you have to build a thing in the back to level it up, and it just adds weight to the vehicle. So I'm going to take that out and build my own bed in the back, as I've done before, which has worked quite well. Yeah. The other strange thing is, Just Campers, please note, the bolts that they send, yeah, they're super bolts. Look. Lovely bolts, lovely fittings, but they're way too long. Now I use my vernier gauge to measure the depth inside the head there. So I've measured the depth, because it's obviously blind, it stops so far down, 25 and a bit millimeters. And then you've got the gasket, which is nothing really. The flange of that to take into account a couple of washers, spring washer and a flat washer to take into account. So I've put them in at about 32 millimeters. Measured them all, had to cut them all, which is a bit of a pain, but seems to be all right. Seems to be working okay. And the other thing was, they don't give you any, there's no instructions with it. So sort of putting it together, well, you're like a Chinese puzzle to start with until you get your head around it. It takes some doing. Something else I did was to fork out for these heavy duty plastic car ramps, which has given me a bit more, really. You see the nice blingy exhaust in there. Just given me a bit more confidence into the vehicle, because I'm on a slope, I'm working on a slope, I've got no other choice. I got chocks under the front wheels there, you see, but on a slope it always makes you a little bit worried, especially when you've got the whole of the back up and you haven't got any handbrake or leaving it in gear to rely on. But yeah, so these are probably a very good investment. But yeah, well, that's where we are at the moment, folks, and stay tuned.